Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. This here is a look ahead. I want to jump way ahead. A big cold blast is going to be coming down. This is by mid-January. So a couple weeks from now, this is what we're watching out for. And it's a little hard to see, but there's a little change in the color here. There's going to be a really big front that is going to stretch all the way down into the Caribbean. Not quite for all of us, but for a lot of us, sweeping all the way down. So this is going to be a real Arctic blast, the coldest weather of the year, coming out of Canada, moving into the United States by mid-January, and then sweeping down into the Gulf states, Gulf of Mexico, and then for some of us into the Caribbean. So this is an early heads up that over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be tracking the coldest air of the season getting closer, and it's going to be a big cold blast. That is right on cue. Mid-January is typically the coldest time of the year for many of us. Now, let me swing you around. We've got a lot going on. The fronts to the north of the Caribbean, have not been super big in the sense that they haven't been bringing down big shots of cold air, but they have been aggressive in nature. This one right here, here's the Gulf of Mexico. Here we are in the Caribbean. This one here is tapping into some of that moisture in the Gulf. Severe weather a possibility, parts of Mississippi, even Arkansas, Louisiana, again, over toward Alabama and the Panhandle of Florida. So an aggressive front, but these are moving more from west to east versus the one in mid-January that will eventually dive down. Here's some of that rain that we've been tracking for what seems like 5 or 6 days, sweeping out of the Caribbean. That's been lifting up toward Cuba and then back toward parts of the Bahamas. That's that moisture plume that we have been tracking together. That's just been feeding in through parts of Central America and up to the north. So lots to track over the next 2 weeks with some bigger fronts that will be heading our way. And you see some of the rain that we're dealing with. This is the cloud cover, and in this we have some of the rain still for us in the Eastern Caribbean. We're still hanging on to some of the dust. So we are quieter from Trinidad, St. Lucia, up through Anguilla, Dominica. We've had some of that dust over toward Grenada and Barbados. Let me know in the comments. Now, let me start here. Then I want to widen out the picture in just a second. Here's that surge of moisture I just zoomed down to. It's still somewhere around Costa Rica and Panama. So the Western Caribbean's more active with that higher chance of rain, while we're dealing with that dust, which I'll show you in just a second, in the Eastern Caribbean. As we flip over into tomorrow, you can see the tail end of a front through here may give us a shower or two. Not too widespread, but Puerto Rico, we could get a couple showers possible as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Still that extra rain, Costa Rica and Panama. And then as we take you through the weekend, this here is by Sunday, still some of that rain, Costa Rica and Panama. We start to lose some of the dust in the Eastern Caribbean, so a chance of a couple of those spotty showers and a few spotty showers as well back toward Belize and Honduras. Now, quick look at the dust, and then I'll widen out further. So here's Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, just to orient you, Barbados, and here's Trinidad and Tobago. This yellow in here, that's still some of the dust. This up here is dry air. My job to kind of find the difference in that. But this is some of the dust, but it is starting to break apart in spots. So some of our islands may already have some improvements while others are still dealing with the dust for a day or two. But overall, we'll get some gradual improvements through the weekend into early next week with some of the dust. Now, here's the big picture, that severe weather outbreak right here. With this front moving through Quebec and the Great Lakes and Mississippi River Valley, it's drawing up that moisture. That's why for us on the Bahamas, we have a better chance of some of those scattered showers. Northern Bahamas today, you see this front trying to move closer to New Brunswick, but I'll zoom down in a second. By late on Sunday, this is jumping ahead a couple of days, but these fronts, as I mentioned earlier, moving west to east, so not diving down quite as much. Going out in time further as we get into the new year, this is by the time we get into Wednesday, watching another system, Atlantic region of Canada. We will get some colder air, but the models are hinting at a buildup of some moisture. So a couple things to watch going forward. Once again, some of that extra rain building central in Western Caribbean as we get into early in the new year. You see here, this is by January 3rd. And then that front here in the Atlantic region of Canada, pretty much like the same setup we have right now, drawing in more of that moisture. So first thing, we're going to see a lot of rain building for some of us early in the year. And then that second thing that I showed you earlier, we're going to see these bigger fronts diving down, especially by mid-January, where we could get some colder or at least chillier weather trying to move in. Atlantic region of Canada, we're just kind of in between fronts, watching these fronts coming in. Bermuda, we could get clipped by a couple showers. Most of the action sliding off to the east, though. There's some of that weather once again by tomorrow. Another chance of severe weather right in through this area here, and then that front kind of draws its energy up to the north, and this will get closer to the Atlantic region of Canada by the time we get into early next week. So more of an east, or rather west to east pattern right now. Seas, though, have been building. You see here, this is by tomorrow, watching toward the Bahamas, the Atlantic waters, any of the passageways over toward the Atlantic. We're looking at some of those choppier seas, a bit more dangerous, bit of a chop in the central sections of the Caribbean, but Caribbean and the Gulf as a whole, we're looking good until this is looking ahead. We get into early January, so this is by next weekend. There's that first in a series of fronts coming by. Just giving you a heads up, by next weekend, those seas are going to be building. Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and the Atlantic. For planning purposes, I wanted to let you know January getting plenty active with that aggressive pattern starting to work in. As far as the rain goes, we could get clipped by close to 3 inches of rain or 75 millimeters of rain anywhere from the Florida Keys back through Cuba, Cayman Islands, Jamaica. More of it is going to be to the north. Then as we get more and more to the east, rain chance not as high. Finally getting a break in some spots in the Dominican Republic. We could get a couple passing showers, maybe upwards of half of an inch, maybe an inch of rain if we get some of those showers back through Puerto Rico. But dealing with the dust, Dominica, St. Lucia, Martinique, Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad. We've had some of that dust around even into northern sections of Venezuela. That rain chance has not been as high. Guyana, Suriname, though, could pick up eventually. Could see an inch of rain as we go over the next couple of days. Costa Rica and Panama, though, will have some totals of 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain elsewhere to the north, scattered about as far as those rain totals. We get into Mexico proper. We're mainly on the dry side. Same thing as we get into much of Texas with most of that moisture and severe weather now just off toward the east. So for us in Jamaica, 40, maybe 50% chance of some scattered showers throughout the weekend. 40% chance the next couple of days, right around the Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, over toward Brac and Little Cayman. Trinidad and Tobago, our rain chance is not super high. By Sunday, it bumps up slightly. You may catch a shower coming back from church. Rain chance stays low with some of that dust around and dry air around in Barbados. 20% chance right through the weekend for us in St. Lucia. Grenada, 30 to 40% chance of a spotty shower, but you see that rain chance still pretty low. St. Vincent the Grenadines, 20 to 30% chance. Just a 20% chance the next couple of days in Martinique, and a 20 to 30% chance in Dominica as we go through our upcoming weekend. Rain chance 20 to 30% for the weekend in Guadeloupe, holding on to that same thing. About a 20% chance. That's it. Antigua, Barbuda. At the tail end of the front, we may see 1 or 2 showers. Same thing, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. Rain chance is not too high, and looking at that 20 to 30% chance Anguilla and St. Bart's. Rain chance today about 30%. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia through the weekend, very low. A lot of sunshine, just a 20% chance. But the next couple of days, couple of scattered showers possible in Puerto Rico. Rain chance at 40%. 30% chance tomorrow, USA and British Virgin Islands. 20% chance on Sunday. And looking at that 40% chance in the Bahamas. Southern Bahamas were mainly dry. Northern Bahamas and even central Bahamas, better chance of the rain. Could get a couple of those scattered showers. I've already had some around Freeport and New Providence. Let me know in the comments. Rain chance only 20% at best as we head through the Turks and Caicos this weekend. 30 to 40% chance in the Dominican Republic, and a 20 to 30% chance as we go through the weekend across Haiti. Belize, rain chance, we're looking at a 30, maybe 40% chance of a passing shower, but our rain chance is not too high. We've had some of the dust around as well. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire. It's not been super crazy, but that rain chance about 20% tomorrow. And you see the rain chance a little bit lower in Guyana the next couple of days. By Sunday and Monday, we'll start to pick up some. See through the weekend, just a notch higher in the rain department across Suriname, especially northern sections. Cuba, we have some of that rain that's been moving by. I zoomed down to that earlier. Costa Rica, Panama, the next couple of days, that rain chance stays on the elevated side. Let me know if you do get any flooding. Nicaragua, 30 to 40% chance the next 2 days. 40% chance the next 2 days days in Honduras, 50% chance by Sunday, 40 to 50% chance, scattered showers, Guatemala and El Salvador through the weekend. Mexico City were mainly dry, 30 to 40% across the Yucatan Peninsula, anywhere from Merida back through Cancun could get a passing shower. Northern Colombia, 30% chance, 30% chance in northern Venezuela. And the rain chance through the weekend on the low side in Bermuda. So again, an aggressive pattern coming in January. We're going to see a very active pattern headed our way, not just fronts diving down, but that potential of some cooler weather and some areas of rain. Those cold fronts are definitely going to be sweeping down. We'll be tracking how close they get and monitoring for any areas of flooding. Of course, still keeping an eye on that earthquake activity. It's kind of busy with the earthquakes last week. I'll be monitoring through the weekend and I'll keep you posted. I hope you're doing well. I'll get to your comments throughout the day. Have a great weekend ahead.